Hi guys, so today we're going to go over your financial algebra quiz that was on working with tax forms part 1. And the first set of questions was about creating a step function. Well, that was the first question, using Schedule Z, which is this scheduled here. And notice that this part of Schedule Z is for head of household. And the minimum amount of money you can earn is anything over 0. Okay, so this wasn't one of those forms that you had to earn at least $100,000. So the object here was to create a step function based on the first 4 lines. So the first line is here, second line is here, third line, fourth line, fifth line, and sixth line. You only had to use the first 4 lines. Okay, now guys, the easiest way to do this is just remember that if you start, you can start on either side. I chose to start over here because you can get this done really quickly. Okay, these are the minimum requirements, and these are the maximum for every step level. So if we start with the minimum requirement, you just go straight down that column: 0, 11,450, 43,650, and 112,650, and you're done with that column. Now you want to go to the maximum for each step. You look right there and you just copy those numbers down: 11,450, 43,650, 112,650, 182,400. And half your work is done there. Now, where are you going to go for the rest of it? Well, that's where you had to fill out your equation. So you want to look right here. Step number 1, it says 10% of any amount between 0 and 11,450. Okay, so all you had to do was multiply any amount x by 0.10. All right, the second level, right there, okay? And it tells you exactly what to do. So you're going to pay $1,145 plus 15% of everything over 11,450. Any amount over. Now, and it gives you a minus sign right there. It basically tells you what to do. So $1,145 right there plus 15% is 0.15 times whatever you made minus 11,450. All right, at this point, I'm not going to keep on explaining. You can see, hopefully you can see the pattern there. So for the next, filling out the next part of the column, you simply go down to the next step and fill it in. And for the next part of the column, you simply go down and fill the next part. So really, guys, what changes? Okay, the number in front changes according to what we have here. Okay, the percent changes according to what we have here. The parentheses don't change, the x doesn't change, the minus doesn't change. The only other thing that changes is the number in back. Okay, and that's it. That's all you had to do to answer part 1. Let's go to part 2. Now in part 2, we were still using Schedule Z and using head of household. Part 2, it says, using Schedule Z above, calculate how much John will pay in taxes as head of household if he made $190,000 this year. Okay, so $190,000, well, that falls into this step category right here. Okay, because $190,000, in this step you have to make a minimum of $182,400 and a maximum of $357,700. 190 falls between those two numbers. Okay, so that is what you're going to use to figure how much you owe in taxes. So you literally just plug it in. 42,755 plus 33% of how much you made minus 182,400. And that comes out to $45,263. So that's how much John paid on his $190,000 this year. Okay, then it says how much of his earnings will John still have after these taxes are deducted. So we start with the $190,000 that he made, take away the $45,263, and he's left with $144,737. So let's move on to the next problem. The next problem, we're using section D, which is different, still using head of household, but now we're using section D, and it says to calculate the taxes for each of the following, show your work. Judy made $400,000 this year. Okay, so if we look on this schedule, where are we going to go with this section? That's over 357,700. So 400,000 times 0.35, and then you take whatever that product is and subtract 24,591 from it. So we can do that all at one time, and we end up with 115,409. 400,000 times 0.35 minus, this is subtraction amount, 24,591. Now remember, that gives you this answer. If you were filling out this form, you'd also have to find the product here, which is this part of that answer. Okay, but for our purposes, I just wanted you to tell me, okay, how much she had to pay in taxes this year. So really, we skipped this and just jumped right there. It's all embedded in that answer. All right, let's go on to the second question. Carla got paid $2,400 per week. Based on her annual earnings, how much must she pay in taxes this year? Well, $2,400 per week. Remember, we want to find out her annual earnings first. So her annual earnings, if she's paid per week, it's 2,400 times 52, and that gives us an annual salary of 124,800. That's what we have to use in our tax. 124,800 goes right in that row. Okay, it's greater than 112,650, but it's less than 102,400. So that's the row we're going to use to calculate her tax bill. All right, so we're going to multiply times 0.28, subtract the 8,317, and we end up with $26,627. That's what Carla had to pay based on her salary for this year. Let's look at Peter. Okay, Peter was paid a bi-weekly salary of $7,600 this year. What was Peter's annual salary this year? Okay, so the first thing, what we're asked here, annual salary, bi-weekly. Well, we know there are 26 pay periods if you're paid bi-weekly. Bi-weekly means every 2 weeks. Okay, all right, so 7,600 times 26, it gives us 197,600. Now, Peter followed as head of household, so he's using Section D, and we want to figure out how much he paid in taxes. So 197,600 falls in line 3 right there, and you can see they tell us exactly what to do. So 197,600,000 times 0.33 minus 17,437 gives us $47,771. And that's it. That was your quiz. If you have any more questions, relook at the video or come in and see me and we'll go over it. Bye.